I'm ready.
No.
Okay, I'm holding on.
You should have been recording.
I'm sorry.
How dare you?
I've got my little
I was
Keanu
definitely
Reeves.
recording that entire time.
I'm holding my little Keanu Reeves, so we're ready to go.
I'm glad the video's off.
Hey, I'm Joe.
I'm Ken.
I'm Andrew.
Oh. And I'm Dan.
And we are the Rewinders podcast, rewinding and rebooting movies to see if they hold up. And this time we went with Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Oh, and how excellent it was.
You really had me confused as to what you're doing
Oh,
at the
yeah,
start.
yeah.
It would help if you had ADR guitar over the top of that.
Like this.
Exactly.
Oh, that
really
silence
is.
is deafening.
Oh, you just wait, Dan. You just wait.
I'm prepared. He's probably got a whole bevy of like audio clips just ready to throw at us.
Remember that one time we played D&D and he was a bard and he had his soundboard?
Oh yes, yes he did, and I didn't forget. Totally didn't forget about that. Just till now. Nope.
It's okay. It's recorded, I think. However bad it
Oh, no,
was.
No, we didn't.
It was funny.
Okay. Well, we didn't hear anything.
Oh.
Like I said, the silence is absolutely deafening.
I was just
Gotcha.
yes-anding.
Well, stop it.
Okay, I'm sorry. So we watched a movie, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and Some of Us Bogus Journey. How do we
I'll
start
get
this
around
normally?
to it. I've never seen any of the movies.
Oh, right. What's your histories with it, guys? Dan, you haven't seen it, huh?
Never. Not once.
What held you back?
I don't know. It was one of those movies that I think it came out too early. When did this release?
86?
89.
89?
I've watched a hell of a lot of other movies that came out around the same time that I was born. And I guess this just kind of fell through the cracks. I regret not seeing it till now because it was entertaining. I hear that I should not watch the second.
I don't know if I agree with that anymore.
I'm not going to fill in the blanks just yet.
Well,
And
we'll put it
I
in, yeah.
I did want to start watching the series because of the remake that just came out, what,
a couple weeks
2
ago.
weeks
A few
ago?
weeks ago.
3 weeks ago?
A few weeks ago. I'll give you that.
August 27th. So yeah, that was like a month ago.
Who's keeping
Ish.
track this year?
Well, if I didn't keep screwing up our scheduling,
Yeah,
Life
Mr. I'm
happens,
gonna
Joe.
Go and spend time at the
Life happens
cabin.
in the
Yeah.
game.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's disappointing.
oh,
I live with it. You guys just have to deal with it on a short basis.
oh,
I think this is a common thread amongst most people.
You should feel bad, all of you.
We're not being depressed.
Nope.
We're being happy. We're watching a great movie.
Yes, yes,
Wait,
you are.
hold on. I gotta not spoil what I thought about this movie.
So, Ken, what is your history?
Oh man,
with this
so
movie?
this is a movie I have tangible history with from a young age. So my family, we had 5 boys in our family, and then 2 parents. That made 7 of us. And we would, I think, about once a week go visit my dad's godson's parents' house. So we'd go over there and hang out, and there was approximately, I can't remember because we don't really talk to, well, I haven't talked to them in a while. I went to school with a few of them. Actually, we work with one of them. I want to say there was like 7 kids in that family. So there was a lot of just ruckus and shenanigans. But one time when I was over there, we were running around, and I saw something on the TV that caught my eye. And I sat down and watched the entirety of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and it made me very happy. And I was young. This came out in 89, so it was probably like 91. I guess not that young. It's like 6, 7, 8, somewhere around in there. And yeah, so I watched this movie, and I really enjoyed it. And then I actually hadn't watched it for more years, and I went back and watched it in like my teenage years. Really enjoyed it. Every time I go back to the movie, I expect something to have changed, but this movie doesn't do that to me. let's not get into that too much. How about you, Joe?
Back when I was a child, we would rent our movies from, at first, the RCA store, which was next to the cemetery. It wasn't exactly a store. It was where you would take your TV to get fixed, or your VCR. They never really expanded their selection, so we moved on after that to Okanto Foods because they kept their selection up. And ever so often, my father would treat my brother and I to a pick one out of the used bin, and we'll take that one home. And this time, I believe it was my turn, and my brother was giving me one of those, like, I'm going to kill you if you pick the wrong one. And I believe the selection was between Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and I wanted to say another movie, but then I found out it wasn't from the same time period, and it couldn't have been in that bin, so I don't remember what the other movie was. I thought it was Wayne's World originally, but it's not. And I picked the non-Bill and Ted's, and my brother hated me for long time after that because he really wanted the copy of Bill and Ted's, and I was the dumbass that didn't pick it. I could be totally wrong on which movies this was that I picked and what were offered, but that story really happened. My brother was really pissed at me, and I want to believe it was this movie that I went, yeah, it was okay, but I'm going to go with this one instead. And then I never watched it for a long time.
Biggest of oofs. Like, that even might be an oog. Like, you don't even get the f of an oof. Oh, well.
You didn't get a full oof.
Yeah.
Yep, got it.
Nope.
But yeah, it was a rental. We enjoyed it, and then that little story, I believe, happened after. And that's what I think about when I think about this movie.
Fair.
Outside of Dan's obsession with the Crudes sequel, I don't think I have.
I'm not. You know what? We're just gonna let that sit.
You're not, though.
This one anymore. No.
I don't honestly have much of a memory of this movie. Like, I have to actually think about it, and I have to actually try to pull some things from the memory well, but I don't have a clear-cut vision of the first time I saw this, who I saw it with. I just know my sister was older than me, and she, of course, had seen this. She had seen Tremors. She had seen, like, all the good classic 80s staples while I was growing up in the 90s, and quoted them constantly with her friends or whoever was around. And that's kind of my first exposure, because unfortunately the first thing I ever knew from this movie was unfortunately the product of its time joke from this film. So her and her friends used to do that constantly to each other, so yeah. I don't know. I think the first time I probably actually sat down to watch this was I guess maybe out of high school, maybe after high school at some point, in my 20s. It's one of those films I always wanted to watch, just never got around to it. And to be honest, it wasn't exactly accessible. And then all of a sudden, I think it was on Netflix one day, and I was like, oh yeah, I've always wanted to check this out. And then watching it, it was like a flood of memories coming back to me in terms of specifically how Toe Jam and Earl kind of got its aesthetic. So... like, everything made sense after seeing that. It was like a missing puzzle piece, essentially. But yeah, that's really my history with it.
All I'm hearing right now is the sound of an old hanging light bulb getting pulled, and the sound of the pull clicking, and the bulb slowly coming to life.
And then a little bit zap as it flickers out.
The metaphors, man.
We got
all day long.
And we've got the trailer.
Oh, the trailer.
What did everyone think about the classic trailer of
to be honest,
Bill and Ted that
I think it's one of the best we've seen. Like, it actually got me excited to see it, even though I've already seen it.
It got me excited to see it, and I watched it not an hour ago.
Oh, good.
So...
at least it's fresh on someone's mind. I enjoyed the trailer. I was cracking up for a little bit when they introduced all the historical figures as the historical figure instead of the actual character, actor names.
That was nice and clever.
Actor, and then George Carlin.
It kind of got old, but you did have to see it to the end of the bit. It also kind of ruins it since we just watched the trailer before that. I thought of maybe having a game of name all the historical figures in the movie, but then I also didn't do the homework of writing down all the names of the movie, so... or all the historical figures.
Well, Ken, wouldn't technically Bill and Ted be historical figures?
Bonus points right there.
In 2688, they sure are.
I mean, they are now, but...
Spoilers?
You say 2688? Is that when it is? Because that's the future still.
So they're historical figures at that point.
We need some Bill and Ted. IRL.
I have notes about the blatant disregard for time law in this movie.
Yeah, there's several spots that stick out like a sore thumb, but again, this is, well, I guess actually, no, there is no excuse. Back to the Future came out when? It came out before this. When did it come out?
Correct.
84? Okay, I was going to say 84, but I always get that...
We're just going to make up a date, because I don't... It sounds right?
Typey.
85.
85. Back to the Future 2 came out in 89. Back to the Future 3 came out in 90.
Honestly, I spent a lot of time thinking about the time law this time around, thinking about what the hell George Carlin was talking about when he's like, oh, the time runs, but it doesn't run. Well, it's still running. I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Well, yeah, it turns out, like, it's an interesting concept where regular time still runs and they still have to get to do the entire report in a certain amount of time. So they still get the same amount of time. They can just go wherever they want in time, which is a weird concept at all. And I think I spent too much time thinking about that. I may have missed some of the movie because of that.
I would say it's a convention to keep the movie going and having a something you have to race against.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'd be like, but I just keep time traveling.
I mean, yeah, it definitely gives you stakes. Like, oh, we have to do this now. Unlike the end of Bogus Journey, where they figured out they can...
Don't you dare. I'm going to watch it. You don't...
We're going to talk about Bogus Journey a little bit, Dan. Just a little bit.
But the spoilers.
We'll scream at spoilers so that we don't spoil it for you.
Okay.
Wait, we're going to scream the spoilers, so if he hears them, he'll go deaf, and then he won't be able to hear the spoilers anymore?
Well, you'll just blow out the shitty speakers in the failing headset that I have here.
Yeah. That's my plan.
This is a good plan. I like this plan. Well, if only we had electronic amplification methods we could use to do that for me. Anyway.
Let's use those amplification methods to pitch this movie.
Oof.
Oh, man. Great segue.
Wow.
Last time, Andy and I, arm in arm, pitched Alien, so why don't you guys arm in arm pitch this one?
All right.
Okay.
We can do this.
I can... Let's see what we can pull out of my ass here.
I got it.
Let's do this thing.
Dan, that's for a different podcast.
That one includes videos.
That one yet.
God, no.
Gentlemen, remember back in high school. Remember the days when you had to give reports.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. In front of the entire class.
Let's make
in the auditorium.
Based on that.
Mm. But our two main characters are going to be idiots.
Right, morons. You can't have them be smart. There's no stakes there. You got to have something for them to work for. So, idiots. Okay. And
it's a history report that they have to give.
Yeah.
Because if they don't, one's going to get sent to military academy. Yeah.
In Alaska.
Ooh, even better.
And
what?
Here's where it gets tricky. There's going to be time travel. Remember a couple of years ago when Back to the Future came out?
I love that film.
Big, huge.
It was a nice, serious comedy, and it had serious stakes and serious, well-written characters.
Okay, let's put that over here.
But we're gonna put that off to the side, and we're gonna go cheap.
What?
For most things.
Yeah, what he said. Exactly what he said. So, we're gonna have these two need to stay together in order to make a more perfect future. And the more perfect future sees that he's going to be sent off to the military academy. So they send George Carlin back so they can do actual on-hand historical documentation. And then they can give...
George Carlin is the entirety of our budget. That's it.
Their report.
Well, George Carlin's pretty hip right now, so...
Have you boys tried Eddie Murphy?
Too expensive.
For what?
That's fair enough. He's got all that trading places and Beverly Hills Cops money.
Honestly, George Carlin's a better fit for this.
What did George do in movies?
I don't know, but he played a pretty mean conductor when I was growing up on the Thomas and Tank Engine show.
Yeah, he did.
Really?
I love... Oh, man, that is how I remember
Same here.
Thomas
He had the most
Tank
soothing voice.
George Carlin?
Yep.
Anything... Yeah, George Carlin.
I I just only think of him swearing a lot.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, he's got the 7 swear word thing.
7 things you can't say on TV.
That. Exactly that. And I'm not going to do it because I don't remember it. It doesn't matter. He pretty much was just comedy at that point. He did a few movies, TVs.
Yeah, mostly TV stuff.
This will be his breakout role.
Well, I mean...
He had to be doing stand-up by this point.
Sure, yeah. Let's just get back into this.
I looked up his IMDb.
Yes, Rothy, that photo is what I remember of the conductor. And I didn't realize that the conductor was a foul-mouthed bastard.
Apparently there was a Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures TV series?
Was it animated?
I don't know. Yes. Oh my.
It was a sitcom.
I gotta cancel the rest of
So
the podcast.
they pulled it back to the future.
Nope.
They had an animated series. Okay.
It came out. It's not an animated series. It was a live-action TV show. It came out in '92.
So after Bogus.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
After Bogus, but they did not have Alex or Keanu in it.
Of course not.
See, I'm seeing pictures of it. No.
I'm seeing a Hanna-Barbera 1990s.
Yeah.
Oh,
Keanu
no.
Reeves, Alex Winter.
Oh, no.
George
Look
Carlin.
at this.
Yeah,
This is all you need.
The 1990s
This
cartoon.
is all you need. I just sent over a screenshot. That's all you need.
Is that?
That is...
Yeah, that's Bill, and that's Ted, but that's not Alex, and that's definitely not Keanu.
Nope.
That's hilarious.
But it looks like there was also an animated adventure. Like I'm looking at.
Oh shit! Apparently the TV show never got off the ground. There was only 1 episode.
According to IMDb.
Oh wait, no, there was 8 episodes.
21. There's 2 seasons of the cartoon.
Because my IMDb only, the live action.
Okay.
There's only 1 season. It's
Thank
8
goodness.
episodes long, not including the unaired pilot.
Yeah. I'm also interested in watching that, not for seriousness sake. Whew.
I didn't know there was an animated series either.
I reckon that's going to be a really easy thing to find to be able to review.
Oh, for sure. Dan, I'm kind of shocked since you're our animated expert.
Never had any idea. Now who
confused
made
it. He is an expert who is drawn.
Oh, that one hurts.
You're welcome.
All right, so what did we like about this movie?
Oh, everything. Not everything.
Damn
There's a
near
few things, but
everything.
So I started with like real in-depth notes and then started watching the movie and stopped taking notes. The introduction, my god, is that the epitome of a late 80s, early 90s intro.
For sure.
Absolutely. I
The music
love that
was
music.
amazing.
I love me some
That
love me
weird
some
prism
George Carlin.
coming from wherever it was going was a little bit weird, but ultimately so
I don't
good.
know, that brushed metal like copper or whatever the hell it was supposed to be. It's so satisfying to watch it come down slowly.
It gave away absolutely nothing about what you were about to watch, and had me sitting on the couch thinking,
That's
hell
actually
am I
a
watching?
great insight into this, because, I mean, at least I knew a little bit about it, but having somebody have never seen this movie before, that is such a great kickoff to the film. Because it really does just thrust you right the hell in.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it's all practical effects, so nothing aged terribly. It still looks good.
The text that splashes on the screen.
Yeah.
Fun fact,
a
the
little
time
rough.
circuits are actually practical as well.
Oh, really?
No, I'm joking.
What
No.
really?
I just had to, I'm
got
sorry.
me all excited.
I say there are a few things, like we're not talking about the intro at this point, we're talking about just along the movies, a few things associated with the magic of time travel that did kind of not age terribly well, but it still looks pretty good. I think they stole the time travel lightning from Back to the Future. Now that's in my head.
They certainly could have.
I don't care where they took it from, because that's got to be hand-drawn stuff, and it looks amazing.
It looks really good.
It really
when
does.
the lightning comes over the phone booth, and it almost looks like arms wrap around it and pull it down into the light. Loved it.
It's definitely a look of its time.
Like I said, Lawnmower Man kind of CG graphics there. Which, if you haven't seen Lawnmower Man,
I have not.
you'll be ready for some
Oh
good
my god,
CG
Lawnmower
graphics.
Man. That is... Damn it, Joe.
That is what I've heard about this movie. Great graphics. Spot on CGI.
Yeah, no, it's good. I guess...
was probably more of the actual budget than George Carlin.
I didn't know this, but apparently the film was originally supposed to feature a van as the time-traveling capsule, but they deemed it too similar to Back to the Future and switched it to a phone booth. I like that.
I like the idea of a phone booth anyway.
Which isn't a ripoff of Doctor Who
But at this
at
point,
all.
not many people
Yeah,
knew
that's British. It doesn't
Doctor
matter.
Who.
Well, there is a huge difference between a call box and a phone booth.
Sure. One's
You're
blue,
calling someone, right?
and one is a phone booth.
One is to only be used in emergencies to call the police, and the other one is to be used by the public to make telephone calls.
And one's bigger on the inside, nerd.
Yeah, they could have used one.
Shots fired. But also true. I miss seeing phone booths. I'd never use one these days. That's why we don't see them anymore, but I
know.
miss seeing them.
There's just something comforting about seeing them. I've never personally used one, but man, do I miss looking at them.
I was always too afraid to ever use one because germs.
Oh, I thought you were going to say because you'd go in to use it and then all of a sudden get a phone call from a sniper on a roof and you'd be stuck inside.
Oh, that...
And then you're going to hurt a lady who wants to use the phone, and she'll be like, damn, that's my dick hand!
Oh, God! Oh, that happened. I forgot. Oh, man. I was just going to say that was a
God
good
damn
movie.
it, Colin Farrell, be careful with that dick hand.
She's going to be using that at least.
Guys,
That was an interesting movie.
Oh, man, I'm also...
Not this movie.
we're,
Or-
This is a
we,
good
we
movie.
are.
Or I'm
we
also
are
thinking Blues Brothers.
egregiously stepping away from
But what
from
about
the movie.
Blues Brothers?
From
Carrie
the
Fisher
episode.
blows it
We
up
need
and
to-
they fall down and change everywhere.
We need to focus, guys. We need to focus. We got to focus on what we're talking about. This we are.
But there's so many good phone booth scenes we have yet to discuss.
And if you want to possibly experience a phone booth today, there still may be one on the outskirts of Pulaski.
Oh, okay. The last phone booth I knew was on the way to High Cliff. And that's how I always knew when to turn. Turn at the phone booth.
Sounds like a good road trip or a way to fool your friends or family or small children by telling them you're going to go on a time travel road trip. Follow me, we're going back in time.
Pulaski. All right,
So-
Dan, we'll get back on
Well-
topic.
Well, now you got me googling Pulaski phone booths.
What is today's phone booth? What do you think is going to be obsolete in 10 years?
Jack-off
Nobody's going
booths.
to know what they are.
Jack-off booths.
Jack-off booths. Well, no, CDC has labeled those as good social distancing.
Oh, good God. Whew.
I wish that weren't true.
Napoleon steals this movie.
He
though.
legitimately does.
Oh, absolutely. Whenever I think of all the, prior to watching it this time around, I knew, I remembered that Socrates was in the movie, but, what you think of first for all the historical figures is always, the one we just said.
Napoleon.
Napoleon
I
Bonaparte.
know, the very first image that always pops back in my head for this movie when I think about it is Napoleon eating a giant-ass bowl of ice cream. I don't know why, that's the first scene.
I always think of him throwing the bowling ball, falling on his face, and screaming "merd" 80 times.
Yes.
I do like he just curses everybody, very under his breath.
Yep.
Until he's happy, and then he's the happiest person on the planet.
Yeah, for me, it's always that, and it's always Joan of Arc leading the aerobics class. Those two scenes are the standout scenes in my mind when I think of this film. I don't know why. It's just, those are the first two things that always pop in my head.
So, my wife pulled up trivia for this, and I don't have a question, but I'm just going to state random fact. Joan of Arc is from Wisconsin.
She's from
She's
France.
a Wisconsinite. No, the actor who played Joan
No,
of
Ken,
Arc.
she's from
Okay.
France, Wisconsin.
Oh! That makes sense.
And she was about 35 or 36 when she played that
Oh,
role.
really? Dang.
Yeah, I was like, she looks young.
I wonder if she.
Not that 35
wait,
or 36
she was
isn't young.
35? She looked
Yeah.
like she was just barely 17.
I know,
Like
right?
Joan of Arc would have been.
She looks super young.
Yeah. Holy butts.
And her reaction at her introduction was spot on, with dropping the sword and
Oh,
being like,
yes.
Absolutely, yep.
God?
loved it.
You're God?
She was clearly sitting there praying for a sign, and all of a sudden this thing pops out in front of you, lights, and it's there. It's magic. It's like, yep, this is a sign. Let's go to San Dimas.
I never realized she was also the rhythm guitarist and backing vocalist of the Go-Go's. What the hell?
Oh my!
That's some serious talent in the
Okay.
movie. Okay.
Any other trivia there, Joe?
No.
Okay.
No other trivia.
That was enough trivia. It just sounded
We had fun, and now we're done.
made it sound like there's going to be more.
More like random statements of facts or close enough facts.
Fair.
Because I may have got her age wrong. I don't know.
Bonus journey was supposed to be Bill and Ted Goes to Hell, but then the production company said, "Hey guys, let's dial that back a little bit. Try something else." So they had to change the name.
Oh my.
I mean, they still go to hell.
Spoilers.
Oh my God. I
Spoilers!
legitimately shouldn't looked up Napoleon to see what else he's done.
You were supposed to scream that.
I shouldn't have looked up Napoleon to see what else he's done because I have a movie I think we need to do for Halloween, gentlemen. It looks like it's along the same lines of Chopping
Okay.
Mall. We've got the cars that eat people. The tagline is, they run on blood.
Oh.
But is it being
I
remade?
hope so. I really hope so.
Next year.
Sounds like a plan.
It sounds like what would happen in a Transformers horror movie. And 10 out of 10 would watch that movie.
Absolutely.
Transmorphers?
Transmorphers. Oh, what a horrid memory that I put in the recesses of my mind to never look at again. Thanks, Dan.
You're welcome.
Speaking of which, remember when they released that first Jurassic World 2 trailer and it looked like it was going to be a horror movie?
Yeah.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
I kind of wish we got that movie.
As do I. The first 5 minutes of that film were great, and everything else was just... But that's a whole nother
Well,
story.
To each his own.
I don't know. I feel like in the entire history of sequels since the original, that is the most Jurassic Park it's honestly felt is that first 5 minutes on the island again.
Fair.
Did you see that they're making a Jurassic Park animated series?
I already watched the whole
Yeah, it's
thing.
released.
Yeah,
Did
season
you?
1 was actually pretty good. Spielberg put in a caveat.
God damn it!
Spielberg put in a caveat. He just said that the children
I
have to be in danger as much as the adults because in the film they were just a catalyst for the adults to move from place to place. Or they needed protection, obviously, but they need to be in as much danger so it feels like Jurassic Park. I mean, these kids are in peril constantly and almost eaten constantly.
But I did the thing that I said we shouldn't do
Derailed.
5 minutes ago. God damn it!
I mean, Dan, I can sit here and talk Jurassic Park all day. I mean, that is my favorite movie of all time. But I think we should talk about Bill and Ted.
Can we talk about the sheer amount of paradox that happens when they meet themselves with George Carlin?
There's no proof that that's going to cause a problem.
Yeah, paradox doesn't happen in this movie. Every other time travel movie, you see yourself, you end the world or something like that, but not in this one. This one it's required.
Unless you're robots.
Oh, Joe.
Station.
I just can't get big, giant foam clothes out of my head. Like, what the hell? Who sat down and thought everybody in the future is going to wear giant-ass paper clothing, foam clothing? Just, oh my God.
But that was the
Yes,
second one.
yes.
Right?
That was
They weren't as bad.
No,
in the first
one was great. The first one was okay, but the second one, it's like they have this like utopia, and it's just full of people with like shoes that are the size of buckets, and they're made clearly out of foam. And
There were some oversized shoulder pads and robes in the first area, too. I mean, it was trying to make it look more futuristic and stylish, whereas the second was just like, oh, let's do this weird style that we're doing right now, only try to make it look slightly futuristic.
It's the end of the year. If we don't use this foam, they won't give us as much foam next year. We need to use the foam.
Spoilers.
the prop masters are just begging production to use foam.
Spoilers. Spoilers.
Dan.
Spoilers.
With as much as we spoiled so far, there's so much that happens in that movie. So much.
It's fun because my first note is lots of foam-based clothes. That one.
Spoilers. Spoilers.
That's not really even.
Can't
a
throw
spoiler.
anything at you guys because we're not in the same room.
So on this one,
So yeah, this
the
one.
future looks pretty clean.
It did.
It's a little bit weird because everyone's in a dark room with spotlights above them.
And floating in some spots, just floating around.
But, you know, you got to make the future look future.
Yeah.
But the person they met, weren't they like the time master or something
Something
like
along
that?
those lines, yeah.
So there was something
See if
like...
there's a time king or something in.
Yeah, so
in
there
the
was something
credits.
special going on there. I'm pretty sure the whole world wasn't like that.
I mean, if you Google Time Lord, I bet something will pop up.
I'll bet my second heart.
And we're back. Anyway.
So, I mean, this movie's infinitely quotable. That's hands down probably one of its best strengths.
There were definitely some quotes that I heard, and I should have written them down, but I was watching the movie, that I heard that I had never...
Registered that they came from here?
Registered that they came from this movie?
There's ones for me too. Like, I appreciate so many more now that I feel stupid for not getting, but to be honest, like, I haven't watched this movie enough. Jesse... So many times, one of our coworkers, whenever he sees something strange at work, he always utters to himself, "Strange things are afoot at the Circle K." And now I get it.
Oh, now right. He does.
Yeah. So.
Yep. Yes, he does. I remember.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Gave me a good giggle when I heard that.
Yeah, there's just so many good quotes in this film. It's one of the best movies I've seen for just fun, wacky quotes, with the exception of one that we'll get into later, but... The comedy in this movie is so damn strong. The kids letting them go, like, basically ditching Napoleon because he's a loser, and just having him go off, like... There's so much to this. I freaking love it.
You ditched Napoleon? He was a dick.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah!
I would. Genghis Khan, finding out all about new bats at the sporting goods store, and like we said, Joan of Arc having a fun time leading, exercise regimen with some folks in the mall, just... All kinds of good stuff. All kinds of good stuff across the board.
I don't know if it's actually true, but I feel like it's probably there in that the humor doesn't put anyone down to be funny.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yes.
It's pretty inclusive, and everybody seems to have, their own strengths. Everybody's got their own time in the movie, and yeah, you can definitely sit here and say Napoleon is hands out the standout star between all the rest of the time traveling cast. But everybody has their moments. Everybody has something that makes you belly laugh. I can't think of a scene where any of them were a dud. I mean, even just something as simple as Billy the Kid and Socrates throwing a football back and forth, figuring out what it's all about, like just in the background while Bill and Ted are talking. That was funny to me. There's just a lot of that.
The 3 floating people are the 3 most important people in the world, according to their credits.
Yep. Don't know what that means.
That's
all we get, though.
Wow, that is literally what it says.
I thought it was weird that they would arrest Beethoven. Is it Beethoven or Bach?
Yeah.
Beethoven.
Yeah.
I thought
it was weird that they'd arrest him for shredding the music too hard. Like, you'd think that'd bring people in and be like, hey, I want to learn how to play this, and, sign up lessons and shit.
Yeah, I watched this with Nicole, who had never seen it, and then also our son Jack, and both of them loved everything from this movie, but that was the question that he had. It was like, why are they arresting him? What did he do? I guess guilty by association, but I mean, that's really about
he
it.
Partied too hard.
Yeah,
he wasn't associated with them. He was just there, playing music. He was not even hanging out with anyone, apart from the fact that maybe they saw him come in on the cameras with the rest of them, but...
I'm going to go with Dan. This was before the time of Andrew WK, and he was partying too hard.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
They weren't ready to party hard.
Not from a man named Beethoven. I chuckled every single time they said that. It never got old to me. Socrates, Beethoven, I mean, come on.
And honestly, if we want to skip to the end of the movie, I really enjoyed how they were like, well, we have a time machine. Let's just put what we need right here at this exact time, and we can...
with the keys.
They figured out,
yeah.
Like the keys, the trash can, all sorts of things.
The tape deck.
Yeah.
No, that stuff's all just fun. It's absolutely fun.
And so it's like what you would want to see in a time travel movie. You're like, well, use this shit. Like, okay, we'll use it. We'll go back in time and do this. And they do it so well.
They don't beat you over the head that they're using it.
Exactly.
Because I didn't catch that at first. I'm just like, okay, this means that they're going to we're going to have an long. I kept waiting for something to stick out that I could make a bad note about. And then they just like, well, we'll have to go back in time and do this thing. And he's like, yeah, we'll put the keys behind the sun. I'm like, they're not going to put the keys right there, are they? And the keys are right there. And I was so happy. I almost cried.
And it shows character development because earlier when Bill told other Bill to wind his watch, or is that Ted?
Ted, yeah.
Told other Ted to wind his watch. He didn't do it. He's like, oh, okay. And like doesn't do it. And like by the end of the movie, he's like, oh, I got it. He's like, character development. He's starting to pay attention to his life.
He's being a little more responsible. Yeah, he's like, oh, I better tell myself to wind his watch. Exactly.
Now, what didn't work for you with this movie?
The premise of this movie would not get off the ground if it were to be touted to the public today. Because this movie is absurd.
It's a what?
It's absurd.
It is absolutely.
Oh, I thought you said it's a turd.
I heard turd, but absurd makes more sense.
I also heard turd, but intuited that it was absurd.
I can't intuit. Once I go turd, there's no going back.
The one of the borks that really got me.
Borgs?
When Missy shows up to pick the boys up. Ted has
Missy.
a massive stack of books.
Okay.
And a frame later, the books are gone.
I didn't notice.
They're not in the car. They're not in the front. They're not in the back seat. They're not in the front seat. And Ted did not open the trunk.
Well, Dan, didn't Missy pick them up in a convertible?
Correct.
Yes.
Books flew out the back. There you go.
Okay, I guess.
But then they're studying those books later.
I'll let it fly. Yeah.
They
Missy drove them back to go pick them up.
They magically showed up at the house. They had had some of those magic Harry Potter trunks.
Yeah, true.
Right? No, that was house elves.
But I hear you guys have a thing that you want to
Yeah,
discuss.
I'm just gonna come out and say it. Just the F bomb. Not fuck.
No,
we like fuck.
Oh, absolutely. That's a great one.
Fuck is fine.
Yeah, fuck's great, but yeah, no.
Yeah, it was so out of place and unnecessary and just weird that they dropped that.
It felt like time stopped as the joke happened. It felt like you could hear a pin across the room.
Yeah.
Instantly, Nicole said, "Whoa, that is not cool."
Yeah.
And instantly turned her off to the movie, as they had just been enjoying it immensely up until that point. Giggling, laughing, smiles on their faces. It's like that sucked all the air out of the room.
And then they thought it was such a funny joke, they put it in 2.
And I actually caught this, Ken. I don't know if you caught this in the second one. They say it twice, I think.
They do say it twice in the second one.
Yeah, because doesn't he shout? He shouts that at the big bad guy. I'll not ruin it for Dan, and then he gets thrown down a hallway.
Andrew, thank you. Thank you. From the bottom of my cold, dead heart, thank you.
Dan?
Don't you
There's a
dare,
Total Recall
Joe! I
moment in 2.
trust you. I trusted you, Joe. Joe, don't you
Total
dare!
Recall.
You can either
2012,
choose to stay in.
They jump from
you
elevator
could
to
choose to
elevator
get
for
out.
20 minutes. It's really touching. All the elevators.
All the elevators. Everyone.
That's dumb.
Yeah, the stepmom,
Missy?
although
yeah.
she had a good moments in the movie, but at the same time, it's like it was kind of beaten over your head. Like they could have backed off the joke a little bit, I think.
Yeah, I think the point where it reached its culmination, where it was the funniest, is when his dad closes the door in his son's face. It's just like, holy shit.
Yeah, in the kid's room.
Exactly.
With the burnt sandwiches,
Yes.
whatever they were. I don't know what they were. It could have been tuna, but
that's
I
good
don't-
because it shows she's honestly trying to be a mom, but has no idea how to do it because she's like 19.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's small details like that that are so appreciated.
I mean, she was pruning the garden when they got back.
Yeah, she's trying.
Yeah. No, I have in the movie. I do not feel like she is not trying to become part of the family. Now that may change at some other point, undescript moments.
Oh,
Ah!
right.
But
That
anyway,
was a thing that happened. Yep.
that and it's not that I didn't like it, but I guess I should have mentioned it on the things I do like. But almost every time that Ted talked, every time that Ted was happy about something, it reminded me of Andy being silly and or happy about things.
Yep.
Giddy.
Yep, I could see that for sure.
Nicole couldn't see it, probably because I mentioned it beforehand, but I don't know what it is. I've been told this since roughly high school that, I don't know, I've just always had people occasionally out of the blue say, you kind of remind me of Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I can't see it myself.
Have you watched anything where he gets like riled up about something? Like
No.
it's shocking how similar. You laugh. Because it's true.
Honestly, if I could be compared to Keanu Reeves, that makes me pretty happy.
I was also a little let down that I did not record any woes in this film. So if he said whoa, I didn't catch it. But
He
for
did.
some
I
reason,
think there might have been once or twice.
Yeah, it was. If it was a number of times, it was maybe twice. But I know in the beginning he said whoa.
I'm sure they said.
that's like that was his thing.
I'm sure they said whoa when they dropped the elevator in front, the fucking phone booth in front of him.
Phone booth. I'm sorry I brought up Toe Jam and Earl. It's not my fault.
I mean, outside of that and the blatant disregard for time law,
Which time law?
Do we need a time cop?
was there really anything that we didn't like?
No,
Because I can't think of anything else.
no, it's entertaining.
It was always in the back of my mind, like I was enjoying the movie, but I'm thinking this movie just would not fly. And I haven't seen the third. let
I
alone
started
the
watching
second,
last
so
night.
I don't know if they like tweak the formula that this series has to make it work in.
From what I understand,
Or-
is they still haven't done the music that
Yeah.
they need to save the world, and this is them being like, "Oh shoot, we need to do this."
Yeah, and it's more so they haven't really grown as characters. They're still like attached to the hip to the point where they still hang out with the princesses, all four of
Heck
them,
yeah.
and they can't tell. One of the running jokes that I'll spoil is just they can't tell the princesses that they love them. They say, "Me and Ted definitely love you," or me and Bill love you. We love you guys. Like they just keep doing that back and forth. So like they literally cannot break away. They have to be a foursome, and I don't know. I watched maybe the first 20 minutes of it last night. It's got its moments already. There are some sad changes, but overall it's pretty good so far. I'll have to finish it before I can really talk about it.
I like the multiverse idea that they're introducing.
Yes, definitely.
Spoilers.
What?
Spoilers. He's just gonna start yelling spoilers whenever he doesn't know what you're talking about.
It's in the trailer.
I do have to bring us back. We were all so damn wrong.
What?
I found a supercut online that's 1 minute and 17 seconds long. That is nothing but a supercut of woes from the movie, and there are a lot.
I was gonna say, I swear I saw a few.
Okay, that
Did I
makes me
become
happy.
numb to the woe?
I guess so. I only remembered the one when the phone booth came down, but I guess when they smash through the walls and see the princesses for the first time,
Yep.
they're like, "Whoa!"
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's so many of those.
Yeah, I guess we have become numb to the woe because I didn't think of it that much.
So here's a fun thing I noticed. Remember the last time we watched a movie and it was an alien movie and it was kind of like a horror movie, and then we had a sequel, and that sequel we decided was more of like an action movie.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
In this situation, we have Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure being an comedy action movie, and the sequel, Bogus Journey, being a comedy horror movie, kind of.
Huh.
I will say that there is a pitfall in the beginning of the movie that is so impossible to avoid. You really just right off the bat notice the absence of George Carlin, and there's no way around that. There's no way to fix that, but it is pretty damn noticeable.
From my experience, George Carlin is a secondary character at best.
He is, but I mean, come on.
Does he
Rufus
play
is so much part of the
a
movie.
bigger role in the Bogus Journey?
Not really.
He kind of does. Kind of,
They're about the same.
he kicks the movie off.
This is a simple yes or no. We don't have to go into detail.
I almost say.
We-
Oh, remember
That's
that
fine.
time? Remember that time when Rufus?
Remember when I said thank you? You remember that? I take it back.
Oh.
I take all of that back. You are now at 0 again. Actually, I might give you a little bit of a negative. How dare you? You ruined it.
Ouch.
Don't lose your flying V over it, Dan.
Wait, Mighty Ducks?
That was the guitar they got
Mighty Ducks.
at the end.
Bogus.
It's not the Mighty Ducks, Ken. It's not the Mighty Ducks.
Station.
No. No. But yeah, I'll jump on the reboot talk here and say that I think it was a good idea bringing it back after all these years and having, if they have a funny concept, it looks like they have a funny concept for it. I haven't watched it yet, but I think it has breathing room and it could do something. But I don't think that they can keep it going after this.
No.
I feel like it doesn't need to.
Yeah.
At least just from the bits and pieces that I have heard of the second, and the subsequent third.
Yeah, I'd say this is a cap for sure, and it's really interesting because I've seen two sides of this. I see the ads constantly for the third one, and they're plastered all over Instagram and a couple other things. The comments are either, wow, this movie was amazing, this is exactly what we wanted, or this movie was a giant turd, I would never spend money on this. It's interesting to hear that because everybody was touting how this isn't just some cobbled together cash grab, how they literally had X amount of years to work on a script and rewrite it and rewrite it and rewrite it. So they've had this absolutely perfect script ready to go this whole time. So going into the production, it wasn't like they were half-assing anything. Like, they knew damn well what they wanted to do. I don't know. I'm trying to keep all the chatter off to the side as I take the movie on with fresh eyes. But it is weird hearing both sides of the vacuum at the same time freaking out about this film.
I feel like it's the people who saw Bill and Ted and remember seeing Bill and Ted being upset because the movie isn't how they remember it, or what they've done isn't how they remember Bill and Ted. And then there's true Bill and Ted fans who are enjoying the film for the film.
Yeah, it's all over the freaking place. And I don't know, just like based off of the earlier comment, just that one scene and Ken's chuckle, I know he's probably going to get a kick out of the movie.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And that's that side of the fence. But I'm just trying to figure out what the other side is because it's so full of just anger and hate.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a pretty divisive film. I can't wait to finish it and see what all the fuss is about.
I'm going to say it's probably Russian hackers trying to cripple the United States economy by taking out this one movie.
Bill and Ted was the one thing that came along and made everyone happy again, outside of Rick Moranis in a 1-minute ad.
Yeah, we just can't have happiness. That's the future trying to kill the future happiness.
This is the year of sadness. Anything but is punishable.
Anything but.
Punish that butt.
What? What's that? We're watching Top Gun? We're watching Top Gun? Is that what I heard? Oh, yeah.
I hope not.
No, I watched it once. I'm never going to watch it again.
So, Bogus Journey. I watched that movie, and every time I watch that movie, I'm like, I can see why people would not like this movie. But the entire time I'm watching, I'm like, this is so dumb. I love it.
Yeah, I didn't. It doesn't matter that it's dumb because the first one's dumb, and that's what you should expect is dumb.
Yeah, I mean,
but entertaining.
There are the parts where they go and it gets kind of gross, if you will. I don't care for those parts.
And Station is
Station
dumb,
is amazing.
Almost. No.
I still don't know what you guys are talking about.
That's fine.
To be honest.
Station's a little dumb.
Station.
I just want to know what makes Station's inside clothes glow. Apparently, the latest fashion trend in the future is having lights inside your clothing.
Heck yeah, we're well on our way.
Does the movie hold up?
With the exception of one very air-removing quote, like, it was so weird to me that, like, this...
It was.
That
it was
existed.
very left field.
With the very exception of that one very specific time, definitely.
I think so. I think it definitely leans real hard on nostalgia from the viewer, but I feel like it does stand up. I was entertained. I'd watch it again.
I giggled really hard at Napoleon, and I was entertained. I didn't have any expectations, so it was all good. I think a lot of people would like watching this.
It was all
I went
Station.
I went into this movie expecting it to be truly 80s, early 90s movie, which it is. But I did not expect the zany. And luckily I was in the mood for zany because I really enjoyed how zany this movie is.
So I will say, one last thing. End of the movie, they get up and they have to do their history report presentation in an amphitheater, in an auditorium, in front of the whole school.
Yeah, that was one of Nicole's comments.
It's like, history's pretty neat and stuff, but I don't want to have to sit through 150 people's reports. Like, sitting through 30 people's reports is hard enough.
How big was their class in the classroom? Because the class in the theater was very large.
And also, I gotta say, they put a lot of stuff into their report, which was accurate, but I don't know how they got that information just by going there and kidnapping some people. I know that the report was supposed to be what they think of San Dimas, so yeah, why not bring them to San Dimas and here's what they thought.
How do the historical actors, how would they handle being ripped from their timeline?
Oh, yeah,
if we're going to get into the reality of things, like...
They handled it very well, considering.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, Sigmund Freud got himself a corn dog and started hitting on some chicks at the mall.
Some of them spoke English very well. The other ones, they were able to mime what they were supposed to do, and Bill and Ted were able to understand.
I feel like out of the whole cast, I feel like Socrates had it the worst. Because even Genghis Khan, through his like flamboyant gestures, just, doing whatever the hell he wants and grunting, people knew what the hell he was talking about. But it felt like Socrates was the one out of the whole cast that nobody knew what the hell he was trying to say.
Latin is a lost language. Chinese or Mongolian is not a lost language.
But also,
that is true.
Socrates is probably trying to say more complex things.
Yeah, I think the big thing to remember, though, Ken, is it doesn't really matter what Bill and Ted brought out to the picture when the jocks at the bar so damn low.
Yeah.
I mean, his report culminated with San Dimas High School football rules. Doesn't take much to beat that.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely made it interesting. However, they had a lot of cuts during the report, and I'm wondering exactly how long that report would have been.
Oh, that's gotta be like a full Act 1, Act 2, intermission, Act 3, Act 4 theater show.
They've been in that auditorium watching reports all day. They lucked out that they had a crazy light show that they got to start off their presentation with.
And the fact that Bill and or Ted know how to, run stage lights and sound.
Yeah, well, they could have just taken their time machine back in time and, just hang out for 40 years while they learn how to do sound and lights.
We won't ever know because it's never brought up.
Or is it?
It's not.
Don't you dare.
We'll have to watch the TV show to find out.
No,
I
we
really
don't.
want to watch that cartoon.
We don't have to watch. Well, the cartoon maybe, but the live action thing.
I want to watch
looks
about 5
so
minutes
bad.
of the live action show, just because it looks like a bad porn parody.
Oh, it does. It
Oh
really
my god,
does.
that's a really good explanation of it.
Any last words, Andy?
No, I think it holds up based off the fact that neither Nicole or Jack had seen the movie and they were laughing and enjoyed it the whole way through. I think they enjoyed it. I think it's just that one scene kind of cut the air out of the room. And again, it's unfortunate because it is a product of its time. That was hysterical to say and quote back in the 90s. But yeah, now it's well past its prime.
Now we know better.
So it's tough. Exactly. But yeah, outside of that, I mean, I have tried introducing the kid to so many different things. Not every movie lands. Not everyone does. But this movie, he was laughing the entire way through. He was laughing at the mispronunciation of Beethoven. He was laughing at every goofy thing that they did. He had the questions you guys had. Why is he being arrested along with everyone else? Just a lot of good laughs. The kid understood it. I mean, I agree that I don't think it could be made today based off of what it is. But I'm glad that it was made because even reintroducing new generations to it, they still seem to get it.
Well, that was us partying on and being excellent with Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, rewound and rebooted. If you could rate, review, comment, subscribe, and share this episode with others, your friends, your lovers, your time bandits who also love 80s and 90s movies, it would be greatly appreciated.
Did we do Time Bandits yet?
Nope.
I still have
we
never
need
seen
to
that
do
movie.
Time
It's driven me
Bandits.
insane.
Oh.
I've always seen the cover, always wanted to watch it, never got around to
I
it.
rented
bad
that
it's
movie from
October.
the library
We gotta do
before
we gotta
COVID started. Didn't watch it.
We have to do Halloween movies for October. Have to.
Have to. Anyway.
And that's
Have
true.
to.
Up next, it is October, so it's on to scary movies. So next time, we will be covering Shopping Mall. Yes.
Another movie I have never seen, so I'm gonna go in with this with bright eyes and be bushy-tailed and be terribly disappointed.
Brace
I am
yourself, folks.
so excited for your reaction. I'm so excited.
Brace yourself. We're in for a good one.
So come back in 2 weeks when we rewind and reboot again!
Joe, I would like to say
Yes.
that this is not Wayne's World. Party on.
Oh, God. Shit.
Party on, Wayne. Party on, Garth.
I feel like they say it in this movie too.
They do. They say party on.
Party on dudes.
They say party on, dudes, and be excellent to each other.
Okay, good. I thought I really had a transference of movies here for a second.